I mean, but the company, there's a lot of history to this. We have all the original blueprints, the drawings. We've got a lot of photographs of this, and we like to preserve a lot of that for people, for like Morey's, and I'm afraid when I touch this microphone, my lip will stick to it. Like a kid from Christmas Story.
Stuck!
Anyways, sorry. Afraid my snot's going to unfreeze. Anyways. But the company did a lot of things that preserve the history. We keep all this in our archives, and we welcome anybody that's interested that's doing a book, an article, amusement parks, or sometimes we even get parks calling us up and say, we got a problem with something, and we'll pull the old original drawings out for them. Now we're getting it all digitized, so it's really nice. But this has been one of the rides that's always been intriguing to me. That it's the way it was built, the way it's a roller coaster, it's a fun house. It's both. It's pretty amazing. Unfortunately, I never came down and rode it when I was a kid. Okay. No, I'm sorry, but we were poor. We lived on cardboard blocks on the side of the road. We were lucky we had the box. We were in the high rent district. Anyways, unfortunately, I never did. And then by the time I got involved with the company in '77, this was already past its running, and I just never got a chance to get here. I'm sorry I missed it. For those of you who did, treasure the moment. Enjoy it. I'll live off of your experiences. Jack asked me to talk about 45 minutes, and I said it'd be about 45 seconds, and probably about a minute past that. So, as much as I love cold, and like I said, I'm a skier, and I love cold because when I die where I'm going, there's not going to be much anyway. So, but this is a little too much for right now. But anyways, I'm glad I was here, and glad to see so many people here. I'm sure the fire marshal's real happy about that too. But anyways, enjoy the day, and again, thanks to the Morey. And I'm telling you guys, knowing these two gentlemen, play golf with them. Oh, you learn a lot of fun stuff, and it's like being in third grade with you. Anyway, but knowing the Morey's family and these guys, they did everything. They did everything to make this thing work, and it's just unfortunate it just doesn't happen these days. So they probably exhausted every avenue they could to keep this ride up and running, but it just doesn't happen, and unfortunately that's why we're all here today. But again, thanks to the Morey family for letting me here and inviting me, and I'm leaving now. Thanks, have a good day. Bye.
John Allen, number 4. This young gentleman right here is that guy's son on the wall. That's John Allen III. That is a great picture. We were really delighted. We started searching for who were the important and the appropriate speakers, and we were just so lucky to have found the Allen family. There's John number 5 is here as well. John 5, eh? So we're so delighted with Mr. Allen to be here, and please share some history. And don't forget to talk about the other rides that your dad did.
Okay. My father designed dozens of large roller coasters during his time with the Toboggan Company. But in reality, he preferred the small rides, the small coasters, and designed 3 of those. One was in Willow Grove Park, one was the Flyer here on the Pier, and then what? And the line ride is what we call it, and the family was the 3rd one. And I think of all the coasters he design, the mine ride may have been his favorite. And one of the reasons for that was it was a small coaster which a family of all ages could ride. And that's what he wanted to do, to provide fun for the families. And I think that's evidenced by the fact that after I rode it for the first time, he asked me my opinion about some of the features of the ride, which he very seldom did. So I knew that's what he liked about this ride. Plus, it gave him the opportunity to use some of the experience that he had with the toboggan company when they built fun houses. And so a lot of the things you saw in the ride came from that time in his life with the company. Well, all good things must come to an end, and the mine ride will certainly be no more, even this shell. But I know that Jack has great plans to replace this coaster with a bigger coaster, and I just wish him good luck. And all of you, thanks for showing up. We appreciate it. And also thanks to my family here, my son, my sisters, and a couple of nieces, nephews, and friends.
Seeing the size of the crowd has more acers than daffies, we're gonna let the acers go last. You'll see, that's a good thing. Rick Davis from Daffy. Woo!
At one time, New Jersey was the place for dark rides and haunted houses. New Jersey was the home of Bill Tracy, the amusement display company, Bill Cassidy, the pretzel company, and a lot of other great attraction builders. Great dark rides, fun houses, and haunted houses lined not only the coast of New Jersey, but New York, Maryland, and Delaware. Today, few of these attractions survive. The Golden Nugget was one of those great attractions. It was a joint venture of two of the giants of the industry, John Allen of the Philadelphia Toboggan Company, Bill Tracy of Amusement Displays, and it was one of a kind. It was part roller coaster, part dark ride, and totally unique. Supposedly, the Hents and John Allen had a handshake agreement that PTC would never ever build another ride like this again, ensuring that this was going to be a unique ride until today. The Golden Nugget operated from 1960 to 91 in Hents Pier when it closed, and again from 96 to 98 when it was rethemed with dinosaurs for the Dinosaur Beach Pier. Unfortunately, Dinosaur Beach became extinct, and the ride remained idle again. While we members of the Dark Ride Funhouse enthusiasts enjoy riding dark rides, we also believe in preserving their history and documenting them, and that we support the preservation of these attractions as well as the creation of new ones. I know that the decision to remove the Golden Nugget was not an easy one for Will or Jack Morey, nor was it a quick one. I know that board members of not only the Dark Ride Funhouse enthusiasts, but also the American Coaster enthusiasts and the National Amusement Park Historical Association had each spent a lot of time talking with the Moreys about ways to bring the Nugget back to life for future generations. Of course, many factors affected the decision to remove the ride, but mainly it was the cost of bringing the ride up to current New Jersey ride regulations and industry standards. While the Golden Nugget may be leaving us, it will live on. Many of the props will reappear here on the pier, and the cars and tractor are going to bring life to a new dark ride at Knoebels Amusement Resort in Pennsylvania. I know that Knoebels will create their own unique ride that will carry on with the spirit of the Golden Nugget. Much as a wake celebrates the life of a person rather than mourns their death, so too must we remember that the past of this great attraction and not dwell on its demise. Thank you, Moreys, for allowing us to say goodbye.
Well said, Rick. The stage might break.
Adam. Adam went back to the warm room for a minute, so. Actually, I was standing over here for a little while and it's freezing. I moved over here and it feels like it's 70 degrees, so that was a good warm up. Obviously, we're very cold today, and hopefully my little story will help warm you up.
It was a warm July evening in 1983, and his 8-year-old boy, accompanied by his mom, dad, and grandparents, after having finished a delicious meal at Groff's, made our way up the ramp onto the famed Wildwood Boardwalk. The sun was starting to set, and there was a slight cool breeze coming in from the Atlantic Ocean. Already the boardwalk was starting to come alive with a buzz that is uniquely Wildwood. Undoubtedly, Mom wanted to stop at Douglas Fudge, and Dad was thinking about playing the horse races at the Supercade. My grandparents would take a seat as their tired old legs couldn't tackle the massive boardwalk anymore. At the Strand, the 2-month-old Return of the Jedi was playing. From a nearby arcade, the sounds of Come On Eileen from Dexy's Midnight Runners was blaring. To me, none of this mattered, because there was a pier littered with whimsical rides ready to create a lifelong of memories. I could see the imposing sand-colored rock structure in the distance, teasing me as I walked slowly down the boards, pulling my parents' hands with more and more strength the closer we got to the granddaddy of all amusement piers, Hunt's Pier. The flyer marquee was the first thing you saw, and as you walked further into this Disney by the Atlantic, your senses were bombarded with the sights and sounds of the Jungle Land Cruise, the Wacky Shack, Keystone Cops, Pirate Ship Skewer, and Hunt's very own Matterhorn Mountain, the Golden Nugget mine ride. By this time, my hands were starting to sweat with the anticipation of riding the thing I dreamed of all winter long. The Golden Nugget was my palace, my escape, my favorite thing as a child on vacation. Admittedly, the Keystone Cops frightened me. Somehow my parents had convinced me that I had to drive the vehicles or I would crash into the scene. I guess I was just a bit too young to realize the rails would keep me on track. Opposite of that, however, I love the Wacky Shack and the pirate ship and the flyer, but nothing compared to my love for the Nugget. I must have asked my parents 50 times during the course of a week-long vacation to ride it. I realize now how truly blessed I was because my parents mostly had lied. The familiar screeching whistle of the Nugget's trains rounding the outside corner beckoned. I looked up at my mom and dad. With tickets in hand, we were standing on the loading platform ramp of the Nugget, waiting for our chance to ride. Before long, we were boarding these simple mined vehicles, restrained only by a small door on the side. A release of the manual big old brake lever, and off we go. Up the first short lift and a quick turn left to yet another lift. The crackling clickety-clack sound is unmatched after rides at almost 400 coasters later. This lift along the backside of the Nugget structure provided an amazing view of the beach and the ocean. The ocean breeze was blowing through my hair as anticipation grew stronger. Up at the top was a slow wind through an old mining town, littered with vultures, panhandlers, and the sounds of the Old West. I grasped the train's grab bar and my father's hand tighter as I knew what awaited me shortly, a perilous plunge down into the bottomless mine shaft. To an 8-year-old boy, this might as well have been the first drop on the Great White. Down, 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 into the screeching whistle turn left, then a climb into the darkness of the Nugget, marked not only by the sight, as you said before, the familiar saltwater-ravaged, musty smell of the ride's interior. Here we encountered a smorgasbord of classic Bill Tracy stunts, like teetering barrels, collapsing beams. Turn my page here, my hands are frozen. Blacklit spiders and bats swooping down from overhead. It was a feast for the senses. My favorite moment was a seemingly never-ending slow crawl in pitch blackness, leading to a